Did you know you can get to a spot a short walk's distance from the Wisconsin state line using only the Twin Cities bus system? That's right, Route 294, an express bus with an abysmal schedule, slowly meanders from downtown St. Paul to the charming old city of Stillwater on the St. Croix River. The bus runs outbound only once a day at 4 p.m. Instead of running direct to Stillwater via the freeway network, it deviates onto local streets in the suburbs of Oakdale and Lake Elmo, making the trip take about twice as long by bus as it would by car. Pre-COVID, the 294 had a much more usable schedule. While it was still geared towards downtown commuters, there were reverse commute trips during rush hour as well. From 2012 to 2019, the service was reduced slightly, but the current one trip a day schedule was not adopted until 2020. With the terrible schedule oriented strictly towards downtown commuters and the slow travel time despite that fact, I thought this bus must get very few riders. However, what I found on my first trip on the 294 surprised me. Hello, welcome to 5th Street and Smith Avenue in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota. It's on the board. 7 minutes. Arctic bus to myself. So, judging by that comment I made about me being the only one on the bus, you could see that I was expecting to be very lonely this trip. However, as we passed through downtown St. Paul, somewhere around 10 people got on the bus. The 294 takes the same route the Gold Line currently takes through the, I guess you could call it, East Side Strode and Freeway Sewer. It then splits off from that route and gets on I-94, the only freeway running section of this route. So after getting off I-94, the 294 goes through the 3M campus in Maplewood. 3M is a large corporation founded in Minnesota that poisoned the earth and water beneath many of the communities we are going to pass through today. So join me for an obligatory FUCK 3M! Anyways, we turned onto Century/Geneva Avenue, the border between Maplewood and Oakdale, and then turned again onto 10th Street North, one of the main streets that passes through the latter. On our way through Oakdale, we passed by Tartan High School and lots of apartment buildings and retail, many of which are solely served by this once-a-day bus route. Many of the passengers who got on in St. Paul got off the bus here, but I was surprised to see 2 people get on the bus in Oakdale. If people getting on a once-a-day commuter bus here doesn't show latent demand for better suburban transit in this part of the metro, I don't know what does. We then continued on to Hadley Avenue, another major road in Oakdale, then turned onto Stillwater Boulevard, where we entered the city of Lake Elmo. Lake Elmo is a much less dense suburb than Oakdale, and the 294 is the only bus route serving the city. No one got on or off in this section, which isn't terribly surprising seeing how sparse the development here was. I mean, we literally went through farmland. As we approached Stillwater, the surroundings began to take a much more suburban form again. We passed by another high school, Stillwater Area High School, which is also only served by this commuter bus. We then deviated into, this is a mouthful, the St. Croix Rec Center Park and Ride outside the core of Stillwater, which was where most of the remaining people on board got off the bus. I stayed on the bus into downtown Stillwater. The 294 meanders around some of the city's old streets and eventually loops back around to the Park and Ride where it terminates. However, I decided to get off the bus in downtown Stillwater, specifically at the Easternmost bus stop on the entire Metro Transit network, Water Street and Myrtle Street. So, my plan was to get off at the easternmost bus stop in the entire Metro Transit network, which is up there. But the road seems to be closed, so I'm not sure what the bus driver back there is going to do, but I will show off that bus stop I intended to get off at. Take on me. Alright, this bus stop right here is the easternmost bus stop in the Twin Cities. That right there is the St. Croix River, the state line between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Meaning, the other side of the river there is Wisconsin. So you can walk from here over the lift bridge over there into Wisconsin. Or in my case, we're gonna bike it. And I'm gonna show you the full uncut version of how long that trip takes. So here's the bus stop. We're gonna bike to Wisconsin, starting now. The road's closed, as I said, so things are a bit weird. There's a No Kings protest over here. She got some decent turnout. She loves to see. Absolutely beautiful day here in Stillwater. I'm not sure if I'm eating here. Here we go. There's the Stillwater Lift Bridge, which was formerly open to cars, but with the construction of the new in 2017 Highway 36 River Bridge, this is now a pedestrian-only crossing, which is really nice. So this is an absolutely gorgeous bridge, absolutely gorgeous river crossing. You can see the new St. Croix River Bridge over there in the distance. Yeah, plenty of people out walking and biking here today, including myself. Here we go. This is a really nice path. Wow. Wow. And the river bluffs by the St. Croix are quite something. So biking out of here today is going to be tough, but it is what it is. Once we get to there, we will be in Wisconsin. The great state of Wisconsin. Accessible via Metro Transit, apparently. And here we are. Welcome to Wisconsin. Yippee! We are now on the east bank of the St. Croix River. I'm gonna ride up a little bit just to get the Welcome to Wisconsin sign. And then we'll turn around and come back. Which, yes, means we'll be climbing this hill. 8% grade, that's unhinged for Minnesota, Wisconsin. What the fuck? There it is, I see it. I can see it. Alright, we're gonna keep this rolling, but we're gonna go. not exactly good at biking up hills, but there's the Wisconsin welcomes you sign. 5 minutes away by bike from the Easternmost Metro Transit bus stop. Now walk over there for a picture. Holy shit. That's an absolutely gorgeous view. Wow. Welcome to the great state of Wisconsin. And the beautiful view of downtown Stillwater over there. A little obscured by the trees, but we'll get a better view of it coming back down, I'm sure. I didn't even go up that far, but that was that was a workout. As I said, I'm not the best with hills, so 8% grade here in the Twin Cities is pretty wild. In Duluth, that would be pretty normal, but not over here. Anyway, we're gonna head back into Minnesota from here, Wisconsin. So, see you then. Here we go, back over the lift bridge into Stillwater, Minnesota. Beautiful as it was before, but a little bit more out of breath. I think that's fair to say. But man, it's beautiful. Not only is the lift bridge behind me pedestrianized, but so is the couple blocks of this street, Chestnut Street, up to right here, which is pretty nice. This is a beautiful town. I've been to Stillwater once many years ago, and or at least that I can remember, and it was just passing through, so being able to experience it like kind of on the ground is nice. Although these hills are pretty crazy, but I knew that going in. So I'm on foot now, got a bite to eat, and I'm just really wishing it was easier to go here, because I mean, it's such a charming old town, one of the oldest in the state of Minnesota, if not the oldest, and yeah, if it was easier to get here, it'd be a lot easier to do day trips to this little downtown, and I wouldn't have to do this whole bike ride back. But anyways, I love these like Stillwater branded bike racks here. There's a lot of like bike parking here in downtown Stillwater. Pretty impressed by it. They've really like done a lot to make especially this area around the lift bridge very friendly for like people on foot or on bike, and it's very popular for a reason. You can see plenty of people walking, someone out biking. It's great. St. Croix's a little flooded, as you can see. Springtime, that makes sense. Here's the lift bridge. There's the Highway 36 bridge over the St. Croix River. Highway 36 used to run right down here into Wisconsin, but now runs over there, which I would say is a much better arrangement for all parties involved, pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers. The sun is going down, Normally I'd be a little concerned about that, but one good thing is, although I do have to bike quite a distance up some hills to get back to civilization, it is all on fully separated trails. The Browns Creek Trail goes a few miles out of here, and then at Duluth Junction we're going to join the Gateway State Trail and ride that into North St. Paul, where we're going to take Route 64 back to downtown St. Paul, where we started this video. So that is the plan, but yeah. Just impressions of Stillwater. It's a super cute little town. I love the architecture too. The architecture is top notch. Heading out of downtown Stillwater here. Loving these rock faces here. Very cool. Just seeing them along the trail. Whoa, look at that gorge! Oh, that's cool as fuck. Yeah, one nice thing about this being a rail trail is the elevation gain shouldn't be too bad. Maybe I'll jinx myself, we'll see. Love this scenic golf course here and this scenic suburb over here. Love it. By the way, I did not jinx myself. The elevation has been very gradual, very easy. Thankful for that. Up there seems to be the first substantial hill on this trail, and that's because we're crossing a major road. Manning Avenue, also known as the eastern border of the city of Woodbury. Although we are not in Woodbury, we're substantially north of there. All right. is Duluth Junction. And we are going towards St. Paul. Welcome to the Gateway Trail. We just finished the Browns Creek Trail, now we're on the Gateway Trail. Here's Jamaica Avenue. Misspelled Jamaica Avenue. About 7.5 miles in or so. Just taking a quick break here. Then we're gonna get back to it. Whee! At long last, Highway 694. Or no, this is 36, but, right? Yeah, this must be 36. Well, point is, we're getting close to North St. Paul. And here's Highway 694, for real this time. It's been a very dark and woodsy portion of the trail. I haven't had much to show you, so kind of skipping ahead a little bit. We are now in the freeway loop, so we're getting pretty close to North St. Paul, judging by that. Now we're definitely getting into the proper suburbs. Lots of stuff on the freeway here to my right, and we're also, not only are we approaching North St. Paul, but also Maplewood Mall, which is a big thing around here. So yeah. So I'm excited to show you when it comes up the basically the main character of the city of North St. Paul, which is a big, I don't know if you'd call it statue of a snowman, but it's on all their street signs. It's visible from the main highway through here, and I think it's just an amusing little thing that makes this place somewhat unique. They really like it over here, so yeah. Ta-da! We are crossing Highway 120, or Century/Geneva Avenue, meaning we are entering Ramsey County and the city of North St. Paul. Welcome. Alright, so I checked. So the next bus that runs right over here is in like 39 minutes. So I'm going to head a little further down the trail, or at least get somewhere. But here is the king himself, the goat of North St. Paul, Snow King, or whatever. I don't know if he has a name. He probably has a name. There he is. You can't see his face. I'll have to show you his face. 1 second. Forgot he had a top hat. That's kind of an important feature. Also, I did lie when I said next bus is in 39 minutes or whatever. The next bus I wanted to get is in 39 minutes. There's a slow route that also goes through here, and that's coming in about 10. I think I'm just going to take the slow one, because why not? So, yeah. I should show you the cult of personality they have here around this guy. So, it looks like he doesn't have a name. He's just the famous snowman. He is the nation's largest snowman structure. This stuff, this, gestures, this, you can read it if you want. So, to show off some of the cult of personality for this guy right here, you can see all the street signs, you know, they got him on him. He's like the king of this one town, North St. Paul. So if you ever come to North St. Paul, pay your respects to the guy. All right, let's go back to regular St. Paul. You know what? I am actually going to go a bit further because I misremembered the what Google Maps told me. It's actually 16 minutes until the 219 comes, so I'm going to just head over to White Bear Avenue, which is a bit that way. North St. Paul, another cute, charming town, although not to the same level as Stillwater. That's kind of hard to beat. Alright, so I made it to White Bear and Larpenteur. We are officially in St. Paul city limits. There's the sign. I'm gonna catch the 54. I live in South Minneapolis, so I'm gonna just take the 54 to the D line. So I'm going down to Bloomington, but it just feels easier. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this Stillwater bike plus transit trip. So let's debrief. I could have gotten on a bus in North St. Paul on my way back, but I would have had to wait a while, and the trip back to South Minneapolis would have been significantly more annoying that way, so I went to catch the 54 bus in St. Paul. I should probably clarify that North St. Paul is a separate municipality from regular St. Paul. I'm not talking about the north side of St. Paul or anything like that. But anyways, the distance from the start of the bike ride in Stillwater to the famous snowman was 12.9 miles, and the full distance I ended up biking was 15.3 miles. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by how easy the bike ride was. Aside from the couple miles I rode to get to the bus stop at the end, the entire ride was on fully separated rail trails. Being on rail trails meant the elevation gain was very gradual and nowhere near as exhausting as the short ride up the bluff I did in Wisconsin. As for the transit situation, well, to put it mildly, there's a lot to be desired. I have a few ideas on what could be done to improve the transit connectivity in the areas of the East Metro the 294 goes through. I made a list of some changes and additions I would suggest for the transit network in the Northeast Metro to improve connectivity and shorten travel times for transit riders. Please note that I've modeled a lot of these off the Metro Orange Line, a fast and frequent highway running bus rapid transit corridor between Minneapolis and Burnsville, and the new Route 888, which replaces part of the North Star train that shut down earlier this year. First, a new, more streamlined express bus from downtown St. Paul to Stillwater. This bus, which we'll call the 288, would go up Highway 35 East, stopping at Maryland Avenue along the way before deviating to Maplewood Mall. The 288 would then run east on Highway 36 with a stop somewhere in North St. Paul. This would probably require either a rerouting of the existing local routes in this area to meet the 288 or a new station facility to be built at the Margaret Street overpass over Highway 36. Finally, the 288 would continue east on Highway 36 towards Stillwater, where it would deviate to the existing St. Croix Rec Center Park and Ride before finally ending somewhere in downtown Stillwater. According to Google Maps, this trip would take somewhere around 45 minutes, although it may be longer with traffic. This would be slower than the direct driving time between downtown St. Paul and Stillwater by about 20 minutes, but it would still be about 15 to 20 minutes faster than the current 294. The slower travel time is worth it in my opinion due to the improved connectivity to the Metro H line at Maryland, the many connecting bus routes at Maplewood Mall, and the multiple destinations in North St. Paul and Stillwater. Also, of course, I'd want this route to have a better schedule than the 294. Hourly service similar to the 888 could be a start, although in an ideal world, it would run more often than that. There is clearly demand for better connections between downtown St. Paul and Oakdale, which was very apparent on this trip. There are currently no useful local route connections between these two places, unless you count the Gold Line, which has one stop in the southeast corner of Oakdale. Your only other options are the slow and meandering Route 219, which requires a transfer to get to if you're coming from downtown St. Paul, or an hourly weekday only branch of Route 74 that ends at the western border of Oakdale. Here's some ideas on how to improve that local route connectivity. I'm a little unsure on the exact specifics of this idea, but I made this concept bus route that would replace the eastern section of Route 74. First, I would split the current 74 into two routes. One branch would run west of downtown St. Paul towards South Minneapolis, potentially making it possible to combine the route with the 46. Another would run east out of downtown St. Paul. This is to make it possible to reach further out parts of the East Metro without making the route excessively long. The eastern section of the 74 is currently a confusing, meandering mess with a bunch of different branches that all end in different places. I would propose axing all of these and running this route east straight down Minnehaha Avenue through the east side. Instead of ending at Sunray, which most trips on the route currently do, I would extend it into the suburbs. Minnehaha Avenue turns into 10th Street North once the roadway reaches Oakdale, and this section is solely served by the 294 currently. This new local route would connect the east side to Tartan High School and to all the retail by Hadley Avenue Avenue and 694. It would then turn south onto Helmo Avenue, connecting to the Gold Line there, before turning again onto Hudson Road in Woodbury and connecting riders to Tamarack Village and Woodbury Drive. Google Maps has this new Route 74 being 33 minutes from end to end, although stops and red lights would obviously extend that time. As for the 294 itself, I think it would be worth keeping just for the suburb-to-suburb connections and the express section between St. Paul and Oakdale. As for the frequency or any modifications I make to the route, I'm not entirely sure, although ideally I'd want it to run more frequently than today, obviously. I also made some concepts for modifications and extensions of routes 270, 323, and 345. Those aren't super relevant to the area we're looking at today, but I have a map of my concept ideas in the description if you're interested. And that's about it for today's trip to Stillwater. I hope you enjoyed this little transit and biking adventure. I will see you next time.